back to our 3-point perspective module of perspective drawing. This is what we did with 1-point perspective. One vanishing point, same horizon line. This was the fun we had with shapes with 2 vanishing points. And now we're going to draw these similar shapes. We'll draw some squares and different shapes and tubes with 3-point perspective. So as our usual, we are going to draw our horizon line. Now, when we do this, we're going to do 3 points, 3 vanishing points. So I'm going to do my vanishing point 1 and vanishing point 2 as far apart as I can. And then we have sort of above the horizon line and below. So let's start with something that's below. Go about as far below as I can. And we'll count this as vanishing point 3. I'm more comfortable using a pencil. I think you should be able to see that okay. I was just using an 8B Lumograph black. It's kind of a nice black. It's very different texture. So the shapes we're going to do, I think we'll try some simple ovals. You know, maybe a 4-sided, maybe 6-sided, sort of beehive. You know, we'll play with some of those, okay? So the trick is we're going from below and up. So I'm going to start with boxes like I did with the 2-point perspective. And I'm going to build the shapes within the boxes. So there's a convergence line. And I'm going to draw another one. So in this case, we would see kind of 3 sides of something, wouldn't we? So I'm just doing them fairly randomly. And it doesn't matter if we start with vanishing point 1 or 2, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So I'm going to meet this vanishing point up with this corner here. And I think I'll do the same. Maybe we'll make a sort of a something that's going to fit within a rectangle. All right, so in this case, these lines are kind of going down a little bit. So that means if we draw another convergence line from these vanishing points from here, and then from here to here, you can see a shape with some depth here. No, not quite. There we go. All right, so I erase a little bit. To make it more clear what we've got. I need my brush. There we go. This is just a sort of a blush brush. Handy, or you can use a paintbrush, whatever you want to get this mess out of the way. So I'm just going to lighten some of this. Okay, so it looks like we've got this sort of box in the air, right? So I'm going to pretend it's transparent, and I'm going to go from this vanishing point to this point here. If any of you guys ever took geometry in class, I should remind you of that a little bit. I'm not going to draw the whole line. I'm just going to go lightly in here. I'm doing the same here. So vanishing point to this corner. All right, so that's our sort of transparent box here. Right? So let's start with the oval. I can do an oval this way if I want, or this way. I think we'll do it this way first. So it's not a perfect circle because it's a sort of an elongated, so not a perfect square, I should say. So it won't be a perfect circle. So you kind of guesstimate where I think the centers are and create a sort of mark where I think my centers are, and there we go. So then I can use this vanishing point and then sort of hit to the end of there. So we lose a lot of that triangle. So we're going to do the same thing. So my center up here, we're going to there, we've got an oval within a box. Those are the toughest ones, especially for new artists. So the more of these you try, the better. And of course, look at these things at different angles when they're around you in life, and you'll get a good sense of it. So maybe we'll just do another plain old box, and maybe one of these guys. I'm going to do it so that it's kind of behind this one. So, and if you get confused by all the lines, erase or lighten. I'm just going to lighten so that you still see them a little bit. So I want to do something that's more boxy, more square. And I'm going to go above my horizon line, but still a little bit behind this guy. So I'm going very lightly behind here. And I think I want to start it around, maybe around there. Sometimes if you have an idea where you want to start, just make a mark and then use your vanishing point and your mark. Okay. All right. I might go through this a little bit so we can see it, so I can see that this is my box here. All right, so if I want to make this kind of squarish, I think I want it to be about here. There we go. So what would a square look like? Maybe about here, a little bit over the horizon line. That means we're looking kind of more below it than we are above it, where we can see the top of this guy. Now that we're going sort of just slightly over the horizon line. Isn't that interesting? That's not, sometimes it's just not going to feel right. It almost looks like a, no, that's right. That's right. All right. So if we want to do a shape, let's do our hexagon. So I like to try and find my middle. So for instance, this is sort of a middle. This is a little more complicated. We could go, let's actually do a diamond. Let's do a diamond. So that's about the middle here. We haven't done many diamonds. And I would say I already have a sort of a line here that shows me where my middle is. Just so if I want to just repeat that sort of angle, I get that there. This could be a fun exercise in creating a geometric shape, sort of abstract art piece. There we go. Fitting within our square. Let's do something over here. So again, we're doing a shape within our box. So we need 3 lines from this vanishing point. And we need at least a few from the other ones. So I'm going to go down here. So this is my middle one. This is the one that I just drew. This one right here. So not exactly a perfect square, and I will go above my horizon line here. What I encourage you to do is experiment. Okay, so we've got this shape here. This is a good one to do this guy. So this guy, it's got like a square in the middle. You're basically just cutting off the corners. But what you want to do is make sure you cut off the corners as they should appear. Right? So it should be in thirds. So if you're good at eyeballing this, you can eyeball it. If you want to, take like one side, like maybe this one or this one, and sort of do the math. You know, you can divide it in thirds. So if this is 2 inches and 1/8, then do the math for what the third would be. I'm going to forego the math part of it because I suck at math. I feel like this horizon line here is my third, and this is my third. So right here. So I already know where my third is going to end up over here. I'm going to use my ruler to help me decide where the third is here. All right. So then I can do the same thing with this side. I can measure it and decide where my thirds are. I'm going to eyeball it though. You do get kind of good at eyeballing things over the years of practice because you've basically taught yourself to see. Again, this is what I would do here. I've got this as my third. Use my vanishing point. And there we go. Okay, pencil. Every now and then these pencils get a little hard bump in them. And I should have done that here. See, I'm off. I'm off. That's better. All right. So then, when we get to this guy, vanishing point, use this to get our line over. This one's kind of already here in the horizon line. This one here for our bottom. Okay, so this would go to here. So we're going to repeat this and this is our line here, right? So there you go. And I'm going to lightly erase some of these things. Yeah, these guys, the Lumograph, it doesn't erase well. So that's one of those guys you bring out when you're ready to finish. So I want to lighten so you can see what we've been able to do here with our shape. And this is really good for when you don't want to smudge, which I've already smudged a few times with my hand. This line gets the eraser stuff off the board. Okay. All right. So let's do something different up here. Let's do something up here. Maybe we'll do one more down there. So again, we create the box, and then we are going to create the shape. It's going to go within the box. So I'm not drawing a bunch of lines below because I know I want to go up here. I don't need to see these convergence lines. If you're worried about getting confused about which box you're working on, you could always use colored pencils. And each shape that you're working on can be a different color, and that could be a fun exercise as well. Because I do encourage you, if you really want to get good at this, especially if you're enjoying it, do it numerous times. All right, so this time we're going to be looking up at our box. Okay, I'm going to draw the bottom of my box. Maybe I don't know how. So this is the bottom front of your box, and then you use these lines. They're basically converged here because they've met. You use them to figure out where the bottom actually is. Okay, it's your little lightning. All right, we haven't just done a plain old square yet. Well, we have technically. What we could do is we could have some fun, and we haven't done a pyramid for a while. So the pyramid, this is my center piece right here. And how tall we want to make it. A pyramid or a cone. So this is my center line. I can do the same thing here. To see the inside of the top of our box. All right, so then we're going to do the same thing. You can use your ruler or not. I'm just playing. Okay, so that's the inside of our box. Yes, inside center. There we go. Inside center. So we could, I should use my ruler or straight edge. Make sure it's all clear. All right. So our cone, or we can make a pyramid. So a cone would be rounded, right? So we could stop and then just shade it at a cone, or the pyramid. That's our pyramid in space. So I know the other lines can get a little confusing. Just lighten them a little bit. There we go. We have some shapes. I encourage you to play around with some shading. Maybe now's a good time to get our black pencil out. And decide where your light source is. If you want to have a light source up here, sort of play with that. So this would be darker, right? Play with your pencils, play with ink, markers, whatever, whatever you want to experiment with, or whatever you really like to work with. So we've got an oval here. This side would be kind of black. The sun is like right there and that close. Yeah, do some playing. I encourage you to do a vanishing point that is above the horizon line, and just play with this. Add color, fill your page with it if you like. So basically the simplest way to explain it is you're using 3 vanishing points, you're creating 3-dimensional boxes, and then building your shapes within it. Have fun, and I hope you share them. I hope I get to see your work.